Hi, I'm Ike on the mic. I just finished reading this book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. This book's about how successful people become even more successful. And I'm sure, it feels like an arrogant thing to say, like, Ike, why would you want to read about successful people being more successful? Like, that would imply that I think that I'm successful. And that's not what I'm implying. I definitely think that I've achieved a few things in my life that I set out to achieve. And once I've had a little bit of success, I wanted to know how to have more of it. But I realized that success is like acquiring status where internally you might feel like that status is undeserved, but you've got this pressure to uh, portray that success. Like, oh, look, I'm a leader of this organization, or I'm a Microsoft MVP, or I am a famous teacher, or something like that. And when you have that amount of success, you really begin to be afraid of being embarrassed or being found out. And definitely that's true for me. I'm always afraid that people are going to be like, well, he's not that smart. Well, he's not that great a leader. Well, I don't know why he's who he is, right? And when you have a fear of being found out, you really don't want to be embarrassed. And the problem you have is that you stop learning, because the reality is learning is embarrassing. Like, if I wanted to learn Spanish, I have to be prepared to speak terrible Spanish on my way to master Spanish. And if I want to learn golf, I'm going to whiff and miss the ball, or I'm going to say something dumb on the golf course. And if I want to learn data and artificial intelligence, I'm going to be bad at it before I'm going to be good at it. And so when you're successful and afraid of being embarrassed, you become unteachable, and it becomes very, very difficult to be better. And this book did a great job of reminding me that even though I might have achieved some success, it's really important for me to be humble and really important for me to be teachable and to learn more things. So, what did I learn? Well, in this book, he outlines 21 things that it takes, 21 habits that leaders have that really hinder their success. And he outlines that very clearly. He says if you avoid these 21 things that he lists right there, that you will be a great leader and you will achieve more than you thought you could achieve. And I'll be honest, of these things, most of them I felt I didn't really have a problem with. But there were definitely two things that I really had a problem with. And that was adding too much value and not listening. And I really needed to work on both of those things. On adding too much value, I started my career as a teacher. I was an educator. I taught Microsoft official curriculum and even Novell network classes at the beginning of my career. And when you're a teacher, it's really easy to think that you're the smartest person in the room. And it's really easy to think that everything you say is profound because the students are in front of you giving you feedback. Like, yeah, that was profound. Yeah, you're amazing, right? And I think that I got in the habit of teaching. And now when I'm on calls with people, I really feel like what I think is teaching is really bragging. And I'm always adding my 2 cents. And so what this book reminded me to do is to take a second and ask myself, is it worth it? Do you really need to contribute here? Will this conversation go on just fine and be valuable without you? If that's true, it is totally valid to just be silent and not say anything. And the second habit that I felt really described me was not listening. I think in my meetings, I get information overload. Like, people are chatting with me, they're emailing me, I'm getting pinged on Slack all the time. And then I'm in a meeting with somebody, and it's real easy for me to get distracted with a more important conversation. And it's very disrespectful to do that. It's disrespectful to the person I'm meeting with. I wouldn't do it to Like when my wife and I were first dating, like our first or second date, if she were talking to me across the table, I didn't like tune out and start listening to another conversation. I didn't like check my phone, right? I gave her 100% of my attention because I wanted her to know that she was important to me. Well, now she's been my wife for years, and we know each other really well, and she loves me. She's not going anywhere, but I should still treat her with that same degree of respect and treat her that she's the most important thing to me. So when she's talking to me, I should give her 100% of my attention. Make eye contact, remind her that she's important to me, show her that I'm listening to her. And it's the same thing with the people who report to me. I have now a team of data engineers and data scientists. I have customers that are longtime customers. I have children, and all of these people, even though they're not going anywhere, I should still treat them with as much love and respect and attention as I did when I first dated my wife on our very first date. And then he also talks about ingraining that behavior, and the way he talks about ingraining it is through basically a two-step process, and that is to be grateful and to express gratitude all the time. And second, to ask for feedback. And feedback is another way of being embarrassed, right? So if I tell my employee, look, I recognize that I haven't been listening to you, and one of the ways that I haven't been doing it is this way, and I want you to be aware of that and call me out on it. Each time you see me not listening to you, let me know. I'll give you $10 in your Venmo account. Or let me know so that I can correct it. What that does is it tells your employee that you're committed to be better. You're trying to be a better person. You're trying to be a better leader. But I also think it does one other thing, and that is if you ask for feedback from an employee, that employee can't be upset when you give feedback back to them one day and say, hey, I noticed that you did this in front of a customer. Can we please try to be better? If we create a culture where it's okay to be embarrassed and it's okay to be vulnerable, then we create a culture where it's okay to, as a team, get better and better and better and better. And I think that culture of feedback and humility is really what will make us get to where we want to be, where successful people can be even more successful. And that's it. I hope you read this book. I didn't tell you everything about it. I just told you what I got out of it. And hopefully that will maybe make you look into it and read it and enjoy it. I loved it. I thought it was great.